Three stocks I'm buying July 2018. We are bringing this series back, baby. If you didn't already know, I killed this series a long time ago, okay? I killed it quite a while back and I changed some names and whatnot because basically what happened is I kind of started the whole trend on YouTube, which was like well over 2 years ago now, about like three stocks I'm buying or things like that, okay? So I used to call it three stocks to buy, okay? Three stocks to buy. And I didn't like that name because it sounded like I was suggesting to people, go buy these stocks. These are three stocks you want to buy. I never suggest you should go buy a stock, whether that stock's going to go up a lot, down a lot, anything like that. Like, I'm trying to teach people how to fish. I love doing these videos to give you guys more names to look into and kind of inspire you and things like that. But I'm not trying to tell you need to go buy some stocks. So I changed the name to Three Stocks I'm Buying, okay? Three Stocks I'm Buying, which was a little bit of a confusing name because Three Stocks I'm Buying, a lot of times I was sharing necessarily, not necessarily stocks I would be buying that month, but I was sharing my biggest investments, okay? So I was sharing, oh, these are actually my three biggest investments, but I was calling the series Three Stocks I'm Buying. It kind of didn't make sense. So then I changed it up to start calling it Four Stocks I Own. Four Stocks I Own, which is a super popular series, and this one covers my four biggest investments, okay? Four Stocks I Own covers my four biggest investments. I'm going to continue that series, okay? This series is truly three stocks I'm buying, okay? Or planning on buying during the month of, well, this month it's July, and I'm planning on carrying this series through. Three stocks I'm buying. I'm killing off the series that I used to have called Three Stocks to Watch. That was a super popular series. The reason I'm killing off that series is it was like, I didn't really like doing it, I'll be honest. I was just talking about like controversial stocks as something was going to be going on with it. It brought in a ton of views, but at the end of the day, I didn't really like that series at all. So I'm killing that off despite it being a very popular thing and whatnot. And I'm sticking with just Four Stocks I Own, which covers the four biggest investments I have. And then also I'm going to be doing this new series, which is Three Stocks I'm Buying, guys. So super excited to share this with you here today. Three stocks I'm planning on buying during the month of July as of now. And we'll just kind of get into this. Now this series, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it all on the whiteboard, okay? So I'm going to go all off the top of my head on why I'm buying these three particular stocks. Whereas, you know, Four Stocks I Own, I show you slides and whatnot. This series, I'm just doing straight off the top of my head because I'm like, if I'm buying stocks, and especially if it's some new ones, which two of these stocks I have never owned before that I'm going to be sharing with you, like I should just have it off the top of my head. Like, why am I bullish on that stock? I shouldn't have to look at slides and whatnot. So as always, today's video is sponsored by my private stock market membership group. That is a very exclusive club of people who are in there who are very serious about learning about the stock market or are advanced investors and just kind of want to be in that group with me and to talk and things like that. You have one-on-one access to me to talk in those comments whenever I respond to all the comments in that group. You also have access to see an account that is nearly $100,000 now that I just started about 6 months ago. I've been plowing a lot of money into that. It's nearly a six-figure account now, and you get to kind of see how I'm building that account, the actual trades I'm making, all those type of things through Fidelity Investments. There's so much value by being in that group. I hope to see you in there as soon as possible. All right, guys, the first stock up is the one I already own some shares in, and then the other two are ones I have not bought at all yet. And the first one's Toll Brothers, okay? So Toll Brothers, right now I can get those shares well under my cost basis on Toll Brothers right now, okay? Why am I so bullish on Toll Brothers? We're talking about a company that has unbelievable brand, okay? Unbelievable brand name, you know, the creme de la creme in home building, okay? And they are on the high end, okay? They participate on the high end of home builders. The majority of the average home Toll Brothers builds, right? It's over $800,000. It's approaching almost $900,000 now, okay? They're in the very, very high end of homes. I like that for a few reasons, all right? The first reason is because obviously these people, if interest rates, which everybody talks about interest rates, right? They could be going up. These people are not nearly as affected by an interest rate rise, okay? The interest rate goes up another 0.25%. Someone that's buying an $800,000+ home, right? These are the type of people that are generally making, you know, $250,000, $500,000 a year, if not several million a year. And also, you know, think about it from the perspective of 25% of these guys, they buy cash, okay? 25% of the people that buy a Toll Brothers home buy cash. They don't even bother taking out a loan, okay? Not even a partial loan. They literally buy that home cash, okay? Yeah, $1 million house, buying it cash. Not even literally taking out a loan on it. It's pretty crazy, right? So interest rates are not going to affect these folks nearly as much as maybe, say, the middle class, right? If you're selling homes at a $300,000 price point, $400,000 price point, now you're talking more about about the middle class, and a 0.25% or a 0.5% interest rate rise could definitely affect that. With Toll Brothers, it's not nearly as much, okay? They got phenomenal reputation. They're competing at the high end, all right? Toll Brothers, also, this is a company that right now has a forward PE on this company of somewhere right around 7.5, okay? Unbelievably low. Now, home builders generally, I guess you say they generally are on the lower end of forward PEs because, home building can be cyclical sometimes and things like that. We know if the economy got super weak, home builders are definitely hit. But a 7.5 for the creme de la creme home builder is way too low in my opinion. This company should be at a forward P of 10 or 11. I think that would be realistic. To have it at a 7.5, it's too much, okay? That's too much, all right? Also, this is a company that is diversified, okay? They are diversified. They are not just a single family home, so they don't just build single family homes. They also build apartment communities and condo communities and all those type of things, high rises. They're well diversified, and also they're big into the active, I guess you say active communities, which is like age restricted communities. So you have to be 55 years or older and to live there and whatnot. And they're phenomenal at building those type of communities, which we know the baby boomers are getting into that retirement age now. They're looking for homes to settle down. And Toll Brothers is a phenomenal home builder. They could buy a brand new home in one of these age restricted communities. Okay. So they're well diversified. That's another phenomenal thing I like. Management. I love the management of this company. Very seasoned management team. Phenomenal management team. If you look at the tenure of a lot of these guys, they've been around the company for a long, long time. They've been through what happened in the recession. They got the company out of the recession, successfully and built into a much, much stronger business, okay? Much, much stronger business. Profits are just pouring in and actually accelerating, profit growth year over year is just going up with this company. Profits going up. If you look at what 2011 was better than 2010. 2012 was better than 2011. 2013 was better than 2012. Every single year, you just see profits and revenue going up and up and up for this company, okay? They're just a phenomenal company. They also have a big share buyback on right now. They have a share buyback on, which I love. They're taking more shares, so even though they have tons of profits incoming, they have, a massive share buyback. By the way, this company is expected to have a very strong second half of the year because basically what happened is recently a lot of their communities have sold out ahead of schedule, and so they're waiting for new communities to open up because basically when you're a home builder, let's say you have 100 lots, you sell those 100 homes, okay, you got nothing else to sell now at this point. You got to wait for the next community to open up so you can sell the next 100 homes or the next 150 homes. Back half of the year, they got a share buyback on. They do pay a dividend. It's not really why I'm in the stock. This is why I'm really in the stock and why I plan on buying more during the month of July 2018, guys. Oh, Toll Brothers, I love that business. Love that business, all right? Now we get to get into two stocks that I have never bought shares in, okay? Tracked these stocks for a long, long time. Never bought shares in these companies, but I'm planning to more than likely during the month of July, all right? The first one is Skyworks Solutions, okay? Skyworks Solutions is a semiconductor play, okay? They're a semiconductor play. They're in a lot of different electronic devices, but the majority of their revenue is going to come from smartphones, okay? The majority of their revenue comes from smartphones, and obviously who are the two big dogs in smartphones? Apple and Samsung, okay? Apple and Samsung. So naturally, this company gets a significant portion of their revenue through the door and profits from Apple and Samsung. That's just how it is when you're dealing with the phone space, okay? So they're massive there, but their chips are spreading into other things, okay? We'll just call it an other category. Their type of chips, you can start using these in a lot of different devices that are connected, okay? That you need connections and whatnot. Think about your phone connecting to a speaker or something like that. Like they can play in all these different devices, the smart home as we call it, where all these devices are going to start being connected, where your thermostat is connected somehow to your refrigerator and all this type of stuff. We're going in the smart home age. Skyworks Solutions is set up perfectly for this, okay? A lot of their chips that work perfect in smartphones are going to go into a lot of these other categories, all right? That's a phenomenal deal, right? Also, it's a company, right? Company that is growing profits, very impressive revenues, very impressive profits and revenue are going up for this company. pretty much year in and year out, including this year, despite one of their biggest customers, Apple, which accounts for somewhere around 40% of their business. Apple's, the growth wasn't, nearly as big as expected, okay, from iPhone 10. So needless to say, they're still growing profits and revenues despite the smartphone environment being weak right now, and it's really weak in Android. Android is super weak, okay? Apple's barely growing iPhone units. A lot of Android customers of theirs are actually having their units go down and are actually shrinking right now. But despite this, profits, revenues are up for the company, all right? When you can grow in an environment that's not a great environment right now, like smartphones are, that's a phenomenal thing, okay? A huge reason why I'm very interested in this company is 5G. 5G is going to be massive for this company. They're one of the best, in my opinion, kind of looking at it, they're one of the best pure plays on 5G. We're looking out into the future. Qualcomm's there's a few other players. Intel could be very involved with 5G and whatnot. Obviously, the phone carriers could probably make some more profits from 5G in the end. But from looking at it from Skyworks, angle, they're going to be able to likely increase revenues and profits immensely in the 5G era, okay? So this is something that's going to be really big for the company, all right? This is a company that despite their profits, revenues going up, despite, having, the 5G build out, that they're going to be able to make a lot of money over time in that. It's a company that right now, the forward PE, last time I looked on Skyworks, right now is somewhere around, I want to say between 11 and 12, okay? Between 11 and 12 forward PE in this company, a company that's increasing revenues and profits in an environment that's not that good. Imagine what they're going to be able to do as long as they execute very well on 5G. And that brings me to my next point, which is management is unreal at this company. The way they've been able to grow this company over time, that management team has done such a great job navigating everything, fighting off competitors here and there, expanding content into the new customers when they used to maybe only get $3 a phone, let's say, in content. Now they can get $15, $20 in some of these high-end phones and whatnot for content. They've expanded their customer base and who's their customers, and also they've expanded with more content inside of these customers, okay? Phenomenal, phenomenal management team. And the last thing I'll kind of bring up here is the balance sheet. Balance sheet's about as good as you can get. No debt on that balance sheet, loaded up on cash and investments. And needless to say, when I look at all this, it's a company I'm very excited about, and that's another reason why I'm planning on likely buying Skyworks Solutions at some point during the month of July. And I'll probably build it into a pretty big position. Skyworks is a company I followed for a long, long time. And I've never bought it, but now I'm just looking at it and I'm like, I think it's a good opportunity, all right? And the third stock I'm planning on more than likely buying in the month of July is a company named FedEx, all right? FedEx. A lot of reasons why I want to buy this one, okay? Obviously, online. Online is just getting bigger and bigger. The amount of orders, going through online is just going up and up and up in each year. And what does that do for FedEx's revenues and profits? FedEx revenues and profits are just going up. You can look at it year after year after year. They're growing phenomenally. You look even in the short term, their last quarter they just reported about a week ago. Unreal, the numbers were unreal, okay? Just strong across the board. They've been spending a lot of money, but to basically make their business even more efficient, okay? So they've been doing a lot of expenses, but to make that business much more efficient, and actually they have a lot of competitive advantages now at this point, actually over UPS, okay? And it's not like I look at it from a perspective of FedEx is gonna take out UPS or something. I think there's plenty of business for both of them. I'm just looking at it from a perspective of, I think they have some definitely some competitive advantages now over UPS. And FedEx now, a lot of times, something that might take 5 days to ship through UPS, it might take 4 at FedEx, okay? Through a lot of, so, that's a big difference. 1 day is all the days in the world when you're talking about this game, okay? It's a company that the management team is about as good as you can get. You can look at how seasoned their management team is, how they've been able to grow this company. The guy that's the CEO, he was co-founder of the company back in '73. They started this business with a few planes, and they've grown it into a $60 billion market cap now. It's as good as you can get from management. The things that they've been able to do there is just off the charts, all right? Then we can think about it from the perspective of forward PE. Forward PE on this company is somewhere around a 12 right now. Very, very affordable. Balance sheet. Let's talk about balance sheet for a second. It doesn't have the best balance sheet in the world, but it does have a much better balance sheet than I always like to look at balance sheet in relation to the peers, the competitors, and their only major competitor is UPS. They have a better balance sheet than UPS, okay? Which brings me to my next point, which is somewhat of a monopoly, okay? We'll just say mono. Somewhat of a monopoly these two have on it, right? If you're not shipping with UPS, who's your other realistic option? It's pretty much FedEx, okay? And vice versa. If you're not shipping with FedEx, it's pretty much UPS. Maybe you can use USPS, but pretty much other than that, it's like a little monopoly these guys have on it. And they have a huge competitive moat in this business, okay? They have a huge competitive moat, which is phenomenal, right? Let's think about it from perspective. You want to start a company to compete with these guys? Man, you're going to need, billions upon billions upon billions of dollars. Like look up the price of just, a Boeing 767 or something like that, like one plane. And then imagine you need a fleet of those. And then imagine you need a fleet of trucks and all these different softwares and whatnot to run an efficient system. Like there's a massive competitive moat because it's just so expensive if you want to actually build out a company like FedEx has, okay? So, that's a tough dealio there. So when I look at all of this, this is very, very exciting to me, okay? They're also building out international, all right? They're also building out international, which I absolutely love. So it's not just a domestic play on the, online and people in the United States purchasing more and more stuff online. It's going to continue to make their revenues and profits going up. But there's also the international play, which are international businesses expanding nicely, okay? There is a competitive threat with this one, and their name is Amazon, okay? Amazon should always be talked about just because they have Amazon Flex. So, that could expand out. And could it hurt FedEx and UPS? Maybe a little bit. But the thing is, you got to understand, Amazon, as big as Amazon is and as massive a company they are, Amazon only represents somewhere around a little less than 5% of FedEx's revenue, okay? So as big as Amazon is, they represent a little less than 5% of FedEx's actual revenue coming through the door, guys. So if they lost some business from Amazon, it's not the end of the world for the company. And you got to figure, even if Flex grows, is it going to grow to the point where Amazon's just going to use Flex drivers? I think that's a little bit unrealistic, especially if you're thinking about it from the next 5 years. It's possible, and it is really the only major competitive threat to honestly FedEx and UPS. I look out there and you think about Alibaba shipping, you think about Shopify and whatnot. A lot of these plays are going to be going through FedEx. Okay, a lot of these plays are going through FedEx, guys. So needless to say, I love FedEx, and I need to add, I don't need to, but I want to add a transport play, okay? I want to add a transport play to my portfolio. I don't have anything, so transport meaning something, either an airline of some kind, or we could do something with trucking, like, night transportation or something like that. Or I could do something in this play, which is UPS or FedEx, and when I look at it, I really like FedEx a lot better than UPS. So for all those reasons, I'm very bullish on FedEx, and that's why I will likely be buying some FedEx shares during the month of July. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Let me know if you enjoyed it in that comment section. As always, don't forget, if you want to get in my stock market membership group, that is the first link down there. I hope to see you guys and talk to you in that group. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.